Hey guys, it's Ellen here, and it's Floral Friday, and we're painting up some fall florals using overwash brushes. I have 3 overwash brushes that I'm going to go over that I use, and this is a fun tutorial on how to use overwash brushes and create some flowers. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section, and let's get started. Okay, so for this exercise, I'm going to go over supplies. For the final painting, I have a piece of Arches, 100% cotton. It's like an 8x10 piece size, whatever. I have my paints. I go over them. I always put them in the description box below. Water jars, paper towel, and I have my 3 overwash brushes. I have a tutorial on overwash brush leaves, and now we're going to do one on flowers. This is a Robert Simmons Sapphire series, 1/2 inch oval. It's a softer, rounder oval. This is a Princeton 1/2 inch Neptune series, and this is it's like a tiny overwash brush, but they call it a filbert brush. This is a Princeton Velvet Touch number 8. It's like an overwash, but it's very, very tiny. And what I suggest when you actually get new brushes and you need to figure out how to work with them is just take I have a cheap piece of paper here. This is like a Strathmore 300 cold pressed piece of paper. And you play around with them. So mix up some color. I've got some pink here. Got the overwash brush. That's the Robert Simmons one. And you just play around with the brush. You're just pushing down and pulling back. Right? You did that with the leaves, but you can do that similar with the petals of flowers. Right? You're just pushing down and kind of coming back into that one, curving it. And you're making like a daisy type flower. Just playing around with that. Now obviously, because this paper is cheap paper, you see the difference? Why I tell you guys all the time why I use Arches. It starts to have this bloom right here. Like it stops and it doesn't blend as nice. Here's a cheap piece of scrap Arches, and you'll see that the big difference of the two of the painting. See? Same stroke, but look at the difference. You got this weird blooms coming in here, call them blooms, whatever, and in watercolor, and nothing like that in the Arches. So that's why I'm saying you would practice using the brushes. And here's the Robert Simmons brush on cheap paper. Here's the filbert. You'd make even tinier ones, little baby daisies. Just simple with this brush. You're not really working that hard, right? You're just moving the brush kind of like in a circular motion. And then you've got that. And then the pointy one, this one I've showed many times how to make great, easy sunflowers with this one, the Princeton Neptune one. Mix up some more yellow here. We're just pushing down and coming, again, this paper's crap, but see, it's got this great point, so it's perfect for like a sunflower. That's a rounded point, so you get this rounded daisy type flower, and you get this pointy one like a sunflower. You're just moving it along like so. And then we can manipulate the paintbrush to make leaves and stems, especially this one because it's really pointy, that you just grab some green paint and you just use the side of it and you're pulling down stems, very tiny little stems, and again you're making the leaves. So you don't have to go out and buy a bunch of different round brushes. You just one fun little Princeton Neptune 1/2 inch oval with the point. You can make a ton of flowers with that, right? So we're going to play around with that, and you can see the difference in the paper. See the quality? Now if I did that same sunflower on the Arches paper, again, the quality. It's not going to have this weird bloom. Hence why I bring up paper is key. So it's kind of pricey. So if you're having difficulty trying to figure out what you want to paint, you would do a sketch on the crappy paper, and then when you know what you want to do, you can go right into the expensive paper. But you see how much better that is? Look at that. And you don't have these little blooms, these hard edges coming in here. It's just a big difference. So now we're going to go into paper. And if you haven't joined my Patreon, you should go check it out. I have a fun, loose floral over there. See this one we did like last week? I'll show you how I do the loose painting, how you create this. And then this week I had a cute little squirrel. So I have the link in the description box and on my about page of Patreon. That is a place where people can support my channel and get exclusive tutorials there weekly. So let's get on with the flowers. So I'm going to use all the free brushes, and I'm going to mix up some colors first again. So I have this quinacridone magenta. I always use these colors. I don't know why I'm just stuck on them right now. The Cadmium Yellow deep. So you mix those two together, you get like a red. You can add a little of the Peacock blue, and you get a more of a burgundy. You know, right this time of year you get those fall tones, burgundies, deep yellows, grays, blues, browns. So I've got this cadmium yellow and that bright, brilliant orange. I had a little red in here, so I've got a little dowel for the yellow. Mixed up some greens. I'm actually using a gouache. For some reason, all this time when I was putting in my tutorials, I thought I was using olive green watercolor, but I was using gouache. But gouache is just like watercolor. It can be opaque and wet like watercolor and work just the same way. So if you're not finding colors you like in watercolor, just grab some gouache, and you got that. Holbein makes the best gouache. I'm sorry, I used gouache forever. When I got out of college, I was doing a lot of print studio work, and I worked with gouache. It was the closest thing to this paint these Korean girls had in the print studio from Korea. That was amazing. To get the quality, the vibrancy, the color. It is amazing. So I'm mixing up some green. I mixed the Peacock blue with that. See, I'm mixing watercolor in with the gouache. You can totally do that. Very versatile. I'm telling you. And then a little Van Dyke brown. Maybe a touch of red. So mix up our colors ahead of time. The blue we use as an accent in these colors, or we could use the blue for, we can make a black or gray, so I can mix the blue with the red. You get the purple. I don't think I haven't done purple in a while. Maybe I should do some purple today, huh? I like to paint intuitively. As you see, I'm talking to you like we're in the living room, but we're not. We're on YouTube. And I'm painting that way. I know people do edited videos. I've done some of those, but I prefer this way. I'd like to keep myself real. That's why I am. So I'm adding a little yellow. Oop, too much green. And to get that nice gray color. So it's purple. But I want like pinkish purple. And over here, you see that part of my palette. It's the best, but I love it. It's the part of the palette I love. So these are the pans that I've used. You activate them with a crappy brush with some watercolor or spray it. And so I use tube paint because I like it, and I don't like the pan so much because it gets chalky. But the tube paints dry up and you can just reactivate them. So I have this black in here and I've mixed it with all kinds of colors over here. I'll grab some of that Peacock blue. So you get this bluish gray, pretty color. Throw in a little brown. This is the side of the fence that I like, the messy side. I'm showing you the somewhat clean side over here, but the messy side is where all the fun happens. I'm sorry, folks, but it's true. Okay, so we're going to start with the Robert Simmons brush. I love this brush. And you can make thin, just by holding it sideways, you can make the thin, like I show you in the leaf tutorial. I'll put that link in the description box. You can hold it sideways and make these thin lines also. So do we want to make daisies? Do we want to make sunflowers? We'll make a combination of everything, right? So the daisy, it's going to be like, if you're going to do an autumn kind of tones, I'm going to make a really pale gray. See, I'm getting really watery. And then I test it out on my paper towel. It's a good place to test it. Or a scrap piece of paper. See, the more water you have, the lighter it's going to be. The less water you have, the darker it will be, and so on. So even though it's going to have a lot of water on it, you don't want a ton of water on your brush. So what I do is put the paint, I know it seems counterintuitive, but it works. Put the paint on the brush, but then dab off the excess water. And then we go ahead and paint. So we're going to make simple daisies, right? We're going to just push down, pull back. And you can go over here like that, the side of it if you want. A little gray color. If you want it even lighter, you can just take just water on your brush, pushing down. If you can see where you need to meet that one, and then go grab your paint, right? Put it in there. It's even lighter. But for this purpose, we're going to just do it the normal way. See, look at all those different tones of gray in there. So we're just pushing down and I'm kind of connecting to the center, right? And I end up making this perfect circle. Kind of manipulating the paintbrush, holding it like this, and then coming in and lifting up and twisting the brush. See how I twisted it? It's this movement like that. Just like that. And then little ones over here. So the foreshadowing of you looking at the flower that way. It could have been like, could add a yellow grays to that, like more beigey, yellowy, but I made a gray. Gray flower. See, just with the simple Robert Simmons oval wash brush. We can use the same brush to make a pretty rose. You can use any brush to make a rose, really. I make roses in different ways. So the thicker the paint, so I've got this magenta, excuse me, yes, magenta. And I'll grab a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the yellow. I want it thick. A little brown. This is really wet, and this is going to be like really concentrated paint on the side over here. So I've shown you many times, but I'm going to show you again. You just take the brush and you make those little marks like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. You don't have to count them. They're really concentrated paint. And then you go and you clean up your brush. You hear that noise? Get some clean paint, clean water. It's on your brush. If you want to take off excess water, take it off. And then you still have the water on your brush. And you're just pushing down the water next to those marks. See? You can see the water kind of bleeding. And then from there, you're pushing it to the side, using the side of the brush. And you have that really loose. I kind of pushed it in the middle too. Wasn't cooperating. And you got these nice loose petals. I grabbed some of the paint here, you see? And when that dries, I can go back on top of it also. You know, you can go in and grab some browns and throw that in. Just play around with it. Maybe that's too much brown, so I'll lift that up like a mop. And I'll go back in and add the magenta. And so you can use the oval brush for a daisy and a rose, just like I did there. Sorry, my chair makes so much noise and I'm lifting it up just so I can see that I'm showing you what I need to show you. Yes. And then the daisy, we have this yellow, pretty bright. Go right there in the middle, just fill that in, just which way you want to use your brush, push it around. And I'll take a little brown on the tip of the brush and I'll just tap that in. So another way you can use this brush to create like a daisy type flower. Again, we grab this yellow and we're going to use the side of the brush. I'm just going to push up the paint like that. Little spikes coming up and then tap on top. So let me zoom in so you can see. Right over here. So I pushed up the paintbrush just like this and then tap, 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 tap. See? Using the brush like that. So I've created like the stamen middle part, and I'll grab some brown and I'll tap, 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 tap. Let that bleed a little bit. Maybe a little orange. Just like that, just to give it more tonality. And then from there, you clean off your brush. You can go in and add whatever daisy type flower you want, whatever color you want, you know. Keep it in the gray tones. Maybe a little bluish brown. I don't want blue, so my gray. Watering it down. A lot of gray over there. Again, pushing the brush and connecting it. And see how you use that side maneuver to make those little side. Same thing, connecting it. And it doesn't have to be that color, it could be any color you want, like I said. Grab a little of this yellow, make it more like a beigey color. You see how I just connected it to the stamen part? Not completely. I'm just using that, pushing it around like that. And then you have another flower. Different type of color tones. Okay, moving on to like the filbert brush. I love this little guy. You can use him for nice stems. And is that green? See? Making some really simple skinny stems, connecting. It's greenish brown. Just like so. And then from there, use the same brush. Let's grab some of this purple color. A little too purpley, huh? I know that sounds ridiculous, but I'm gonna water that down, see if I like that. Test it out here. So that looks a little too blue. Kind of pretty. I don't know, grab a little more red and get more purple color. You gotta play around with it, see what colors you like. Mix it all around. I'm gonna mix them there. All right, I think it's good enough. So I'm gonna water that down a little bit. Test it out here. Still in that blue family. And I'm just gonna make little tiny flowers with this. So you just, if you can see this, yes you can, okay. You're just pushing down. See, I'm just pushing down. It makes these little stubby little flowers. Just with this little brush. Let's get a nice round to it. And all you're doing is pushing down. See that? You can grab some of that purple and bleed that in. Just like that. Again, just pushing down. And if you wanted to, use the side of the brush. So you make these little skinny little lines. Get more purple in here. It's fun, right? So you can make some more skinny line ones. Just like that. Put it up right here. Now to me that looks kind of, it's too much like a, it should have been more sporadic and out this way. So I'm gonna have to move some out here. That's how I work. I'm like, oh, I don't like the way it looks. And it's always good to stand up and step back and see what's going on, right? Let me zoom back out. You see that? It's kind of like this weird cascade over here that I don't like. I mean, you guys might like it, but I don't. So I'll have to fix that. How do I fix that? You can add some greenery, some brown. So you just take the same little fun brush. Don't be afraid if it goes off the edge. You know? just add the greenery to offset the weirdness over here. Just pushing in with the brush. So I'm building more up here. I'm trying to have your eye forget about this. Some leaves. Just like that. And put some more leaves down in here. I want your eye to kind of forget that I did that maneuver. So I'll either concentrate out here and out here. And your eye won't go there as much. It's going there right now because I'm painting there. But we're going to move it down, cascading this way. And now that this is dry, you can use this brush, the filbert, or any other brush, and go in and put some details on the daisy with the darker gray. See, I turned it on its side and just pushing up these little lines from the middle going outward. And you've got this nice detail on the flower. Same thing with this one. I wouldn't do it in every single petal because then it's kind of fake looking. Just tap it in here and there. And don't hit every single part of the petal. See, we're using that brush. And we can go back in for the rose. Getting a little darker here. Trying to mix up a nice burgundy color. See? Makes these simple petals. It's a cute little brush to have. Some of these art supply stores have deals when you buy more than 3. I know Dick Blick, if you buy 3, you get like 2 free. So now I'm just adding in some darker tones to that rose. So I turned it from being a loose rose to a bit tighter, right? It's a little tighter. I tend to just paint the dark colors on one side, as you can see. That's how I like to do it. Everyone has their own way of doing things. That's mine. Okay, now for the pièce de résistance. No. You know, that Neptune brush. You can put a nice sunflower up in here with this brush. Again, pushing down, coming together. Just like that. It's so simple. I think I used this brush for a chrysanthemum tutorial on YouTube. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it. But the point on it is great. You can do a lot of flowers with this point. You see how simple that was? It's starting to bloom here, see? Sometimes it does do that on the arches paper, but generally it doesn't. It just has this nice blend bleed. And you get that nice pretty sunflower, and I might do a little small one coming down here. You kind of want to balance the color, like boom, boom, boom. Maybe we'll do another yellow one up here in a triangle. You don't always have to do that, but sometimes it's nice because the eye can move around that way. Some people's eyes attract to yellow, red, so if you bounce it around, it's seeing the whole picture. So maybe grab the same brush and put a little yellow daisy flower up here. Much smaller one. And see, it doesn't matter that it's going on top of the greenery. It doesn't bother me. Put a little orange in there. But I'm balancing out the 3 yellows. See that? And then I might put in a little gray one over in here, and then we move around and do some roses. And so, the same brush, the greenery. Sunflowers have a deep green. So I have the peacock blue with the green and the brown. And then to make that leaf up and like that, you can just kind of play around with how you want to make the leaf. See that? Grab some of that gray color. Put the stem in there. Put another one out here. But see how you're just moving that brush so easily to make the leaves. It's just simple as that. Kind of grab some of this brown. Making a brown over here because I've lost it over there. It's all green. It's more of a red brown. And then you add yellow and it gets green. So I'm going to add some, see with the point, it's a pretty point just like the other ones had a nice point. Some nice stems coming down. Some brown stems over this way. Trying to still get our eye away from this mistake that I made over here. And then we'll add in some green foliage in here. That's how we build out the composition. So we had the blue over there. We got to move the blue again. Right, the blue purple. I would do different, maybe blue flowers here, simple lines like that. Just holding the filbert brush on its side. See, I just created this really simple bluish purple flowers. Just like that. And you could do them over here again. But then we haven't done any of those pretty magenta. We just have that one rose. Right? So we're going to add another rose. Or it doesn't have to be a rose, it can be another pretty pink flower. So you're just adding another same color tone. See how I just took this filbert brush and I just pushed down and made this big blobbish kind of petal, and then I did a little one next to it. And that would be great for, this brush would be great for eucalyptus. So you get this burgundy color, balancing this burgundy color. That's how it works. You're kind of like moving all the colors all around the page. And then you can put a smaller rose down here. Just do a little one. Just like that. Just a teeny one. Just like that. And then over here, it needs some green. Some greens. So I'd use it, kind of fill in between the daisy flower. And the sunflower. You can grab some of that dark gray. Even some black you can throw in there. Just to show the leaves a little more. Again, I stand up, you can step back. See, kind of see how that you put that dark color against that white pale gray leaf, it just pops it out. Grab some blue. It's a little trick, you know, it's like the negative space. And just kind of move the stuff around and figure out. Now obviously for the sunflower, we can take whatever brush we have and add in some details to that flower. So we've got this lighter, darker yellow, I'm sorry, not lighter. And again, same thing I did with this one. Pushing out the color from the center outward, just to give it that detail that it needs. This is getting a little muddy. But this is how you play around with these type of brushes. I'm using them all different ways. Just keep pushing around. You can get that nice spiky point holding it on its side, flatter, holding it down that way. Same thing over here. And then we'll add the center. And then we can add some more of this tone to this guy. Got kind of muddy. Put some more yellow in here. Just brighten it up a bit. Still dealing with that blue over there. Let's throw that blue off with some bright yellow green. Right? Put some right over here from leaves with this brush. And then we'll go in here. So it's not kind of bothering you as much anymore, is it? You've kind of built out so much of the other parts of the painting, you're forgetting about the area that you might have messed up. See, I'm putting that chartreusey color green leaves all over here. I'm almost done, you know. Without this, I feel like this part's a little empty, but that's okay. I don't want to build up everything, and you might want to just take some more stems and go out this way. Just even some grayish black tones, and just making these marks. Just take this filbert on the side. Just movement. I like movement. And again down here, just some marks. Movement. Kind of how I do things. And we're going to put the center in. It could be a deep brown. I have some black here. I'm cheating here. Black, a little red, blue, yellow, and you get this darkest brown color and a little more black. And we're going to just put in the sunflower. I always put in like a little halo in the sunflower, which is basically the little white spot. Paint everything around except that part. And same thing here. Right? See, that's how we do it. And then go just grab a little of that blackish brown, add a little details down here, just tapping it in on the daisy part. I feel like it got lost a little bit. That's why I'm standing up in the chair. I'm looking at the painting as I'm doing it, and I can see what's missing. Still don't like how it's just like dun 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 going down here. So I'm gonna have to push out some stuff out there. And that might be greenery. Could be some branches. It's going off the page, but hey, it doesn't matter. Who says you have to stay inside the lines, right? And maybe if I just get rid of the blue so much and add some magenta flower, it won't bother me as much, right? So you're standing up, and yeah, I think I cured that problem. And there you go. And that's how you use these fun little brushes. I'm still using the filbert. I think it's fun. The Neptune one makes this great little, like I said, spiky. So I'm gonna grab some orange. I haven't done orange in here. It makes these great little spiky. Grab a nice little pretty orange flowers, so we can make just like that. Add these little spiky flowers. So I do believe I use this for the chrysanthemum. I'm not sure. Don't hold me to it, like I said. And I'll balance it out with some down here, because there's a really fun point to it. Get it? What's the point? I know I'm being silly. It's Friday. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Floral Friday with the 3 overwash brushes that I use in creating that. Practice using, like I said, crappy paper, and then go in and use a nice paper. And just play around with it. So, hey, see, I just did this intuitively. I played around with it. It didn't do anything really special. I'm still playing around with it. I still might be adding stuff. So the final picture might look a little different. I might have a little black here for the dots for the center. Whatnot. So I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. Again, don't forget to check out my Patreon and my acrylic page. It's called Amazing Art. I just do acrylic demos over there, and I'm trying to get that out as much as possible, but it's difficult to do Patreon and 2 YouTube channels. It's a lot, and my work. So thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great weekend. Take care, and I will speak to you soon.